are we all this lovely Power Sunday? All right. I welcome you all to today's lesson sermon. Today's sermon is titled Finding Your Purpose in a Fast-Paced or Ever-Evolving World. And I'll start with a quote from Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. And it reads, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future." Many of us have felt or right now are feeling lost or confused in our life. The youth who are up and coming are bombarded with the new experience of standing on their own 2 feet or the pressure of making it in life. And even the adults feel stuck, not knowing the next step to take. Sometimes we feel like we are in the wrong profession. And other times we live with regret for some wrong choice or decision that we made in the past. And still, we are not sure what we should be doing or what step to take in life. Some of us have graduated from school and are having difficulty finding a job and feeling frustrated and sometimes even hopeless. This may be because everyone around us seems to have their life together, while we are still trying to figure out who we really are and what we are supposed to do. Or maybe it feels like the world is moving at 1,000,000 miles per hour and we just can't keep up. Whether you are still in school or just starting to think about your future, it's easy to get overwhelmed by all the choices, the pressures, and the voices telling us what success should look like. The truth is, a lot of people feel the same way. But fortunately, we are not alone in this journey. God has a purpose for us, and He is not leaving us to figure out everything by ourselves. It might not always feel like it, especially when things get tough and uncertain. When God says He has a plan for us, He's not talking about some vague idea. He's talking about a specific personal purpose that He has designed just for us. That means we don't have to rely on what the world says we should do. We don't have to follow the crowd or measure our worth based on the expectations of others. Maybe we are struggling with questions like, what's next? What am I supposed to do with my life? I've been asking myself these questions lately as I've come to this point where I think I need to make some changes. What I've learned is that God's plan for us might not be fully revealed right now, but we can trust that it is good. And even when things feel chaotic, God is in control. I have learned to trust the process and rely absolutely on God for guidance. This means being in tune with God and preparing a container to receive whatever God wills for us. So when I'm talking about creating a container, what we need to do is take stock of our lives and be mindful of whatever thoughts we are entertaining in our minds, our words. What are words that we keep repeating? Are they positive or things that bring us down? And then our actions. We also need to take stock of those. And if there's anything lacking in our lives, let's try and find out how we can fix it. If it means improving ourselves in whatever profession we are in, if you're a student, you want to study so that you do well in your exams or you do well in school. If there's anything that you need to learn it. And then what you also need to do is to eliminate all the things, all the negative things in our lives, in our thoughts, all the words that we say that no longer serve us. We need to be mindful of them and then take them out of our lives. Trust in God like a child does, without any doubt. And then open your hearts and minds to receive divine guidance through regular meditation and proper study of the nature of God. Read scripture and inspirational materials, and also read wide on any subject at all. That helps us with knowledge. And then fellowship with people with like minds or people who lift us up. One thing that I do is to listen to podcasts or motivational audiobooks while I'm driving or when I'm stuck in traffic. Let's occupy our minds with uplifting thoughts and be intentional in all we do. That is, we have to choose to live the highest way possible. Whatever we find ourselves doing, if it is good, let's do it well and with all of our heart. At school or at work, let's endeavor to learn all we can about our subjects or our job. That way we will be experts in our field. The focus or the concentration with which we go about learning more, will open us up to wider knowledge, making us stand out from the crowd. In today's world, it's easy to get wrapped up in comparing ourselves to others. Social media, the TikToks, the Facebook, Instagram, make it seem like everyone else has it all figured out. But here's the thing. Your worth and identity do not come from what others think of you, or from the many likes or the many followers you get online. That is an artificial life. It's like getting instant gratification. We are chosen by God, valuable and loved beyond measure. We don't have to prove ourselves or live up to someone else's expectations. Our purpose begins when we understand that we are God's masterpiece. And He has already given us a unique identity and a purpose that only we can fulfill. True purpose is not just about success in the world's eyes. It's about relationship with God and with others. Our purpose is found in staying connected with God, the source of all things. When we build our life on Him, everything falls into place. We always say here that God will bring the people and circumstances to fulfill our desires. This principle is the secret of life. It's like trying to make a fruit grow without a tree. It doesn't work. But when we stay connected to the source, we will start to see growth and fruit in our life. Therefore, let's start by building that relationship with God. Spend time in prayer and meditation. Read scripture. And as I said, read widely. And trust that He will provide. Trust that our needs will be met on time and in good order. We don't have to have our life all figured out right now, as the world tries to make us believe. Like, oh, by now you should have been married, or at a certain age you should have finished school, you should be married, you should get a job, you should buy a house, you should get promoted, and the list goes on and on and on. That's not how God works. His word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. He gives us just enough light to take the next step. He does not always give us the full picture of our lives right away. He leads us step by step, guiding us where we need to go. But the catch here is to trust Him enough to take that next step, even when we can't see the whole path. If we are not sure what to do next, let's start with what we know. For example, at my workplace, we are facing a reduction in workforce, and a whole lot of us will be out of a job pretty soon. I had a conversation with one of my colleagues, and I was trying to find out what his plans are. And he said during COVID, he and his wife would bake bread and make deliveries to people. And so he plans to go back to doing that. And then he also has a farm which he's going to be concentrating on. And then I also had a conversation with another colleague who is a janitor. She cleans the compound and the offices. And I told her So just in case she's affected by this reduction in force, she can actually come together with her colleagues to set up a cleaning business or a facility maintenance business. And they can serve big companies and even private residences just by providing cleaning, gardening, and maintenance services. Therefore, let's ask ourselves, what do we do best? Or what is it that only I am uniquely qualified to do? Or what is it that I really do well? What lights us up? That when you do it, others get satisfied with it, and they in turn will be glad to compensate you for it. For me, I discovered recently that I have a passion for motivating others to be their best selves. It's been like that since childhood, but it became more evident as I, in my adult years, or quite recently, not very long ago. So if you are a student, intentionally study to get a deep understanding of your subjects and do your best. Let's focus on the now and seek the opportunities that God places in our path, and maintain an attitude of serving God in others. Even if you are young, you have influence. You definitely have some knowledge or a gift or talent that you can bless others with. We can choose to live a life or testimony to God's goodness and love by choosing to live the principles that we are taught here. Somebody else would see you and want to be like you. And then you start becoming a mentor to many people. So live and lead by example. So we can all make an impact on our world, whether we are young or old. So recently I've sat in interviews of some of my colleagues, and I saw them separately come to me and giving me this feedback about my smile. So one of them said when she got the job and came to the office, she was looking for me frantically. And she went to one of my colleagues and asked, "Where is that lady with the sweet smile?" And the lady just guessed that it was me. And she said, "Oh, I'm the one who sits at that desk over there." And she said, "Oh, she didn't recognize me. At that time, I was wearing my black with my black scarf, so she didn't recognize me." And then when she came and then I smiled, she said, "Oh, yes, you are the one." And she told me that when she came for the interview, she felt very nervous. And when she looked at my face, I smiled at her, and then it made her calm down, and she felt confident to answer the questions that were put to her. And there are several other people whose interviews I've sat in who've come to tell me the same thing. So look for your gift and share it with people. In conclusion, let's be reminded that we are not lost. God's plan for our life is far better than anything we can imagine. We must not let the world define our purpose and our worth. Let's not allow the pressure to have it all figured out to make us feel like we are behind. I always tell my friends that God's time is like pregnancy. When it's your time, nothing can stop you from being what God has destined you to be. So, let's choose to stay connected to God. Focus on being the best version of ourselves. Serve God in others with our unique gifts and talents. Trust the process and open ourselves to infinite good. So let's also remember that whenever we feel stuck or confused or frustrated or lost, that is our call to reconnect with God. Sometimes it's just God reminding us, hey, I'm here. You don't have to do it alone. And then we reconnect with God and seek his guidance, because he is the source of all that we seek. And that is how we feed our souls. Connecting with God is how we feed our souls. Now we shall end with an affirmation. So let's all sit in the meditative posture. Shall we close our eyes and let our minds be absolutely here? And I'm going to read through once, and you will repeat after me with conviction. God's timing for me is perfect, and he is leading me towards something great. I live out my purpose in alignment with God's plan for me, right here and right now. I am open. I am receptive. I am thankful. Now, shall we go together? God's timing for me is perfect. And he is leading me towards something great. I live out my purpose in alignment with God's plan for me. Let's take that again. I live out my purpose in alignment with God's plan for me. Right here and right now. I am open. I am receptive.